All right, here we are. We are going to talk about doing patterns, and then we're going to jump into creating our banners and creating grids for our banners. So I'm going to start with just an 8.5, 11. I'm just going to make a one artboard right now to start, and we'll add as we go. We are working in, we're going to stay working in CMYK color, assuming we would be printing these out, 300 pixels per inch. I'm going to say create. Okay, so my, here is my blank artboard. I'm going to grab a logo I have that is a symbol, essentially. I'm going to grab its address. Here it is. So here is my symbol. This is for fashion company and its address. I'm just going to make it black and white so you can kind of see, and we can play with colors a little bit. So here's my symbol. I want to make a pattern out of this. We want to pick things that are fairly simple to make patterns out of. So one of the things our group talked about is when you're choosing your symbols, you want to choose your simple symbols for patterns. You don't want to choose something that's highly detailed and complicated. It will do better if it's a simple symbol. So, for example, this is a dress, and it's pretty simple. Let's say I wanted it to be a person. I might make it have a little head. I'm going to add a little head to my design. And actually, is that? No, I think not. Okay, so let's just use this. So this is the symbol. I'm going to select its two pieces. I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and go into Object, Pattern, Make, and it's going to immediately just start making a random pattern. And it gives you this pop-up box that says, this new pattern has been added to the swatches panel. Okay, fine. It's obviously just the random computer designed. This is a horrible looking pattern. This is not what I would want my pattern to look like. I'm going to call this one dress. And I'm going to go ahead and start looking at how I can now design this pattern. This is just what the computer does. If I see a pattern that looks like this, I'll know you didn't put any time and energy into designing it because it's just what the computer spit out. Now what you can do is start playing with the different tile types. So there's a grid, which is the default, brick by row, brick by column. Well, that's starting to look better, right? But they're still right on top of each other. I don't love that. Hex, oh, now they're overlapping. And hex by row. Now I really can't see what's going on. So I'm going to go brick by column. That's more the look I want, but everyone's still way too tight. So here I can go 0.5. Oh, too tight. What do I want? I want more space. 1.0. And then maybe 3.0. Maybe I want 2 inches. I want my little further apart. Maybe it's 3.5. There. Now they're starting to feel like more spaced out like I would like. I can also look at the overlap if I want any overlapping elements. I can also determine how many copies I want. I want it to be wider. 7 by 7, 1 by 3, 3 by 5, so on and so forth. I'm not too worried. It's very big, but I'm not too worried because I know I can adjust the size once I get into it. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's my pattern. And to give you an idea of how big it is, this is an 8.5, 11 sheet of paper. So this is a pretty big pattern. I've used a pretty big symbol. I'm not too worried. It's not great to use something so big because it affects us, but we can change the scale once we've made it. So I'm gonna call this dress, leave it, and that's the end of it. So once I am happy with the way my pattern looks, I've named it, as you can see over here. I'm gonna go ahead and close my options, and I'm gonna double click on the gray of my table, and you're gonna see it all went away. And you might be saying, where did it go? Well, it went right here to my swatches menu as it told me it would, and it's sitting right there between the colors and the grayscale. And so how I access it is I select a shape, and I can now take it and take a rectangle, and now a pattern is a fill. So it's going to fill a shape. So I'm going to select the pattern off my swatches menu, and there it is. But I'm looking at it going, gosh, that's really big. I don't want it that big. When I start utilizing it on my design, that's way too big. So I can then go into the scale tool and double click the scale tool. And I want you to see there's lots of choices. There's a uniform scale. I want to keep things uniform. I don't want to stretch or squish my design. But then under the options, you'll see I can transform the object, which, let's say, just to give you an idea, if I do 50% and I hit tab, I have my preview looking. Everything got smaller, including my square. I don't want to do that. I'm going to uncheck transform object. And now it's just transforming my pattern. And now you can see my square stayed the same size, but my pattern got 50% smaller. I can also make it, make it 25%. And now it's even smaller. So I can adjust in the scale whatever size I want my pattern to be. So there it is. Now let's say I want to take the same pattern. This is just our black and white. We're going to add color palettes. Let's say I want to make it a color. So I'm going to choose a bright color. And all I have to do now is go ahead to File, Pattern, Make. And I can go in, yes, I know what I did, brick by column. And I can go 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my pattern. I also made it 7 by 7. And there it is. Okay. So then I'm going to click off of that. And then now you'll see there is now a red pattern. I can create another box, select the red pattern, and there it is. Now it's going to, since I built it at this big size, it's going to come in big again. And I can then decide if I want to scale it. Oh, but remember, I got to turn off the transform objects, just transform patterns. And I'm going to make this one, 30%, so it's a little smaller. And then even in my design, I can have a couple different things happening. You can also sometimes layer them, can be interesting. Or just thinking about playing with the different sizes. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Mariah, yeah, go ahead.
If you make like a pattern black, if you wanted to change the color, do you have to make a new one, or could you change the black one?
Nope, you have to make a new, yeah,
Okay.
it does. You have to make a new one.
Okay.
So that's why I had to make a new one. Yep, Max, go ahead.
Is it possible to, for example, like if we're looking at a pattern that, like, how do I explain this? One one dress is one color, then the other dress is a different color, and it's still a pattern, but they have different colors.
Yep. Yep.
How do
I'll
you
show
do?
you how. Yeah, I'll show you how you do that. That's a great question.
Right, thank you.
So, yeah, so here we have to set up our tile accordingly. So if I want to have, oops, if I want to have my elements in my pattern different colors, I need to set up a tile in here that has the different colors. So for example, I'm going to kind of set up the layout I want. And then I'm going to do one dress yellow, one dress orange, this dress lighter, this dress pink. I think I'm going to make all our heads. Should we do make them purple? Maybe like a purpley color. So here's all my different ladies. So I'm going to select them and go over here to Object, Pattern, Make. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and choose, yep, choose what I want. Brick by column, X by column. Kind of deciding which one is the way I want to go. It might be this one. Width, I'm going to go 3.5. Get them a little further apart. Maybe this is 8. Well, maybe 7.75. So anyway, so there's my pattern. And I'm going to call this okay, so there it is. I'm going to move these guys off the page, grab another square, and fill it with my colorful ladies. Again, I want to adjust the size, take off my transform, and I can decide, how big do I want my pattern. So yeah, it can be, you can adjust and have multiple objects in your pattern. So to do different colors like this, you would have to have start off with multiples. You can also mix things. So for example, let's say I wanted to do one that's the dress lady. And then let's say I wanted to go, I think someone had asked me, what can I make them go different directions? Absolutely. Let's say my ladies are swimming and I want them to be kind of a yin yang, going two different directions. I can select these two like this, go object, pattern, make. Same thing. Adjust my grid, decide what I want. Oh, none of these look good. These all look terrible. Let's go back to grid. I want to make them a little bit more space between everything. There we go. That's feeling better. That more. Nope, it's too far. Okay, I think that's feeling good. So there's my swimmers. Grab a box. Add my swimmers. Scale them. Oh, I forgot to do the button. 25, but turn off transform object and then say okay. Okay, so there now I have the design of the ladies going two different directions, calling them swimming. So multiple dresses make this, two different directions of the icon makes this, and then the single by itself makes these. So these are all I mean, all the variations, and I could go on and on about all the different ways I can take this one symbol and make a bunch of different patterns. It's a lot of fun. So I encourage you to try it. I'm going to end the video here, but if you guys have any questions, we can keep chatting about it.